Hollywood Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Take a moment and think of one thing that you really wanted to do recently, but you didn't because your foot, leg, or back pain got in the way. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and that's why we're here, to help you get back out there. Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store are designed to alleviate foot, knee, hip, and back pain, plus provide improved balance, more comfort, and, well, a better life. Try them for yourself with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
Hey, Tyler Head here from the game. Excited to tell you about NASCAR's return to the track that is too tough to tame with the 75th running of the Cookout Southern 500 coming up on Sunday, September the 1st, as the NASCAR Cup Series wraps up its regular season and determines which 16 drivers are going to be vying for the coveted NASCAR Cup Series championship in the NASCAR playoffs. Tickets start at just $55. Also catch the NASCAR Xfinity Series 200-miler on Saturday, August 31st. Tickets start at just $35. Hope to see you there at Darlington Raceway.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy. It's back to cool season with big-time savings on Tahoe Suburbans and the all-new Chevy Traverse. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion, Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station. It's the Garnet Trust Hour.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5. The Game.
You give me that funny feeling in my tummy.
10 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Garnet Trust Hour brought to you by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you here on the game, 11 days away from South Carolina and Old Dominion. And for those of us that believe in week 0, only 4 days until football, Chris. We're almost there. And Wes can roll his eyes all he wants, but dang it, football's going to be played on Saturday, and I'm going to watch it.
I can't wait. What is the official first game up? Is it the Ireland game?
It's Florida State and Georgia Tech. It's going to go straight from game day to that game at, well, it's high noon here, but probably like 7, 8 o'clock in Ireland. I know they're 6 or 7 hours ahead, so be a night game. But, yeah, it's going to start the day off, which again, like for the last open Saturday that most of us are going to have for the rest of the year, I feel like that's kind of the best way to do it. Either that or have it as a night game to where, okay, you watch the game for a couple hours, then you have the rest of your afternoon to go out there and do whatever you're going to do, go to dinner or whatever, not really miss anything for, again, what's kind of the last true open Saturday for us football sickos that are going to be locked in from August 31st and really until mid-January.
100% would go to a football game in Ireland.
Oh, 1,000%, totally. In fact, I might know some people that are actually going on the Georgia Tech side of things.
Oh, really?
I'll have to check their Facebooks this week and see if they're taking off to Ireland. But I knew some people that went because they played in Ireland, I want to say 2012 maybe, against Navy. Somebody. Georgia Tech's played in Ireland before. What their connection to Ireland is, I don't know. I get it when Notre Dame plays there. Like Notre Dame Fighting Irish, sure, it makes sense. But Florida State and Georgia Tech, that is an interesting combination.
Yeah,
just to randomly play.
It's a good excuse to go to one of the pubs.
That being said, I think Stanford and Rice played in Australia a couple years ago in a Week 0 game. So it's like
as well.
I mean, I don't get the connection there either, but sure, why not?
Yeah, go to Australia.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
What it is. It's cool. Go down under.
Yeah, that's what I can't even imagine what that time difference would be.
Let me get your take, but it'd be a big difference.
Yeah.
That's across the world, literally.
Yeah.
What is your take on what Georgia Tech's doing right now? They're making a little bit of waves in recruiting.
Yeah.
They just landed a 5-star
Their
O-lineman.
biggest signee, I think, ever. I think technically, according to his rankings, bigger than Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
I think technically speaking, that is correct. Look, I think Brent Key is the perfect coach for them. Jeff Collins was a goofball, right? He was so easy to clown. It didn't work. You know what I mean? He was constantly full of excuses on why things weren't happening and just wouldn't get the job done. And the second they fired him and made Brent Key the interim head coach, that program got 10 times better. And look, I get the Willie Fritz hype and everything for what he's been doing, but it just made total sense to me for them to keep him, which they did. And last year was a pretty significant step in the right direction. Last week of the regular season, they had Georgia on the ropes. Like, it was not an easy game for Georgia on the flats there at the end of the regular season for the SEC championship game. They are moving in the right direction. They got Haynes King, who quietly was one of the better transfer quarterbacks season ago, coming back for another year. Again, they're recruiting at a high level. And look, I'm not saying they're going to suddenly become a national championship contender, but much like the Paul Johnson era Georgia Tech teams, every now and then they'd jump up and they'd find themselves in an Orange Bowl. They'd be in the ACC championship game, and they have the makings of being one of those teams again, it seems like.
Well, and you just look at their schedule. I mean, you go up and down their schedule. They do have to play Georgia and Athens. NC State figures to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bunch of them where you're like, they could win that game or they could lose it. I mean, I could see a path for a very disappointing season or a season where people are like, God, Georgia Tech won 9 games.
Right.
You could kind of see either way. I was just curious because they are making some waves for the improvement that they have shown on the field under Key, and then their recruiting as well, which I kind of figured that would take a step up. I'd heard some things that they had been doing in the NIL space. They've certainly gotten better there. Brent Key's a guy that's been at Alabama, so he's seen that how you have to recruit from a big-time program standpoint. So they've definitely made some strides.
No,
interesting.
Absolutely. And when you think about where they are in Atlanta, of all places, they have a very wealthy alumni base. Like, they have all of the, pieces that should lead to more success. Now, again, do you have an alumni base that's as invested in football as some other programs? Not necessarily. But you start winning a little bit more, that'll certainly tick that interest up a little bit. That could help in the NIL space, which, again, it seems like they're doing an okay job there. Again, you have a coach that seems to be very well liked by his players in Brent Key that's guys are buying into when it comes to recruiting. Like, they're moving in the right direction. Now, are they going to get to the level of what Kirby's doing in Athens? Probably not. Can they make themselves a solid, consistent team in the ACC? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ACC's is it as open as it's ever been, probably?
I feel like it.
Because the past several years, it was like, you're playing for second against Clemson. But there's still some, Florida State is better than what they were, obviously. Sure. But a lot of the other teams are either kind of still floundering or the margin is so small. I feel like you look at, and I'm not turning this into SEC versus, I'm not doing the SEC chant here on the show today, but like you look at the SEC, you see a whole bunch of teams where you're like, the margin for error is small because there's a bunch of really good teams. The ACC,
sure,
there are some quality teams, but the quality top to bottom is not as good. And you're sitting there going, okay, who's better, Syracuse, Wake Forest, or Virginia? That type of thing.
I think about it like this. Yes, Florida State got screwed out of being in the playoff last year as an undefeated conference champion, and we can talk about that until the cows come home, and that's not going to be a problem this year because if you do the same thing, you'll be in the playoff as a top 4 seed.
Yep.
But that being said, do we look at anybody besides Florida State and Clemson as like serious championship contenders? Maybe Miami. I mean, for what they brought in the transfer portal, but
Does anybody actually believe in Miami, though, because of, everybody has the visual of them handing the ball off instead of, what I mean?
That is definitely burned in people's minds. That's going to be a hard one to shake off for Mario Cristobal. But, they did a lot of good things in the transfer portal this offseason.
They did.
I look at what Cristobal did in year 3 at Oregon, which is when they took a big step forward. Can they do the same thing in year 3 at Miami? Well, we'll have to see. But, Florida State, Miami, Clemson are kind of the 3 teams that get talked about the most when it comes to the ACC. But I don't quite put those teams in the same realm as the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Oregons, the Texas, teams like that are true, national championship contenders as of right now.
No NC State. No love?
Here's the thing about NC State. They flew under the radar last year, winning 9 games. I think they could be sneaky good this year. They got Grayson McCall coming over from Coastal Carolina. Dave Doran, very good coach there. That again, they took down Clemson last year, very quietly won 9 games. I think they could make a lot of noise. I don't know if that means they're going to go to the ACC championship game in Charlotte come December, but they could position themselves to be maybe around a double-digit a winning team this year.
It's just crazy. I'm looking and it is jarring to look at the top 25, and there are a handful, or less than a handful of ACC teams, and there's NC State, Miami, Clemson, and FSU, and pseudo-member Notre Dame.
Yeah, the cousin of the ACC.
And the others receiving votes. Louisville actually number 1 in terms of the, basically they're number 26.
Sure.
Louisville, Virginia Tech, and those 2 teams are ahead of Washington.
Yeah,
who played in the national title game last year.
That Washington team they got gutted, pretty gutted from last year. But what makes you wonder about the ACC is it a conference that's going to cannibalize itself? Yes, we know in the SEC there's a good chance nobody goes undefeated, and you could have Texas beating Georgia beating Alabama, and all that kind of stuff, where you have a bunch of 1-loss or 2-loss teams at the end of the year. But still, you expect a good handful of them to be good enough to make the college football playoff. If the ACC consumes itself, and your champion is a 2-loss team or something along those lines, you're probably not getting any other teams in after that. So that's your kind of concern with that conference is, do the good teams just end up beating each other and having losses that they shouldn't have that ends up keeping them out of the playoffs for the most part?
Yeah. Very true. I kind of think, is Clemson still the ACC favorite? Maybe. FSU's ahead. They're going to have more, because of what they did last year, they're going to have a little bit more. I'm fascinated because, Clemson's former quarterback is playing for FSU.
Yep.
They will play each other this season. I kind of still look at them as the favorite. And then I actually have FSU a little bit behind them in terms of if you're kind of the pecking order. And then I'm going to say NC State. And then Miami, just because I just can't believe in Miami until further notice.
Yeah, and look, I think Florida State gets the benefit of the doubt from being the champion last year, the snub and all that kind of stuff. But you can't deny the talent that they've lost. And look, DJU has been around for a while. His career was not what people expected at Clemson. I think he took some steps forward last year at Oregon State, but I don't think anybody's looking at him as an upgrade from Jordan Taylor these past couple years at Florida State. So what does that do? You don't have Keon Coleman anymore at wide receiver. You lost a lot of guys on defense. I still think they're going to be a good team. Do I expect them to go undefeated and run the table again? Probably not. And again, what does that mean for them making it back to the championship game? I don't know. So it seems very wide open, I guess.
Yeah, definitely wide open. Well,
I can tell you this: if they lose this weekend to Georgia Tech,
ooh,
I think people might start hitting the panic button a little bit.
We're looking at Brent Venables here on the SEC Network.
Yes, we are.
The even richer now Brent Venables because he got...
That's a nice office.
Oh, by the way, I was going to say something about... Let me say my Venables point real quick, and then I have an office point. So, Venables is going into actually a pretty important year.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a massive extension this offseason.
He did.
That seems like a big year for them because... if they don't show a lot of improvement, Jackson Arnold, former 5-star, going into his sophomore year, Dylan Gabriel from last year playing at Oregon, it seems like they kind of said, hey, Jackson Arnold's our guy.
Yep. Well, and that's why they let Dylan walk.
They let him walk.
Because if Gabriel sticks around, Arnold probably transfers.
Right. And so they made that calculation, which you have to do in the year 2024. But it's a big year. I mean, not only were your expectations going to be heightened already, but now you have the background of the contract extension.
Well, and I think from Venable's perspective, that is the collective reassurance from the school. Like, hey, we think you're the guy. We don't want you going into your first year in the SEC questioning yourself. We've got confidence in you. Go out there and focus on football and focus on winning games, where you don't have to worry about the contract stuff anymore. So I think that's a smart move to make. Now, if they go in there and are a 3-9 team in the first year in the SEC, that's a different conversation to have next offseason. But for now, you can put all that stuff to the side and just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, but Venable's office is pretty. He's got like a looks like Integrated Media did that actually. That we'll have to check with the guys and see. It's almost looks like a fireplace, but it's got a TV on it.
Yeah.
You see that with the OU?
That is pretty neat.
What did you think? That's what I was asking about the office. Did you see the difference between Saban's office and Kalen DeBoer's office?
Yeah, DeBoer said it was like his grandma's house when the Saban one, because it had the wood paneling and looked like it was from the
so much different
70s or something like that.
Which one did you like better?
I like the modernness of Kalen DeBoer's office, and I think that's something that's going to appeal to the younger crowd.
Shane Beamer's office definitely has the modern look.
Okay, I've only seen it like parts of it on when he's doing like interviews and stuff.
It's a really cool office. Definitely more modern. I kind of liked Saban's office. I don't feel like I would have gotten any work done in there.
It matched his vibe.
Yeah, that's an office where you're like, I don't know. I feel like you go like have a cigar and listen to Motown or something in Saban's office.
Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of calm days in that office for Nick Saban and his staff. A lot of relaxing going on around there in his time there. Speaking of Alabama, by the way, some interesting news coming out from Tuscaloosa in relation to their, I guess we can call it a front office now. We'll hit that coming up. It is the Garnet Trust Hour, brought to you by Garnet Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you on your Tuesday here on The Game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
We were just looking at Brent Venable's office here. I do not know if the guys at Integrated Media outfitted his office, but it looks awesome. It looks like something they would do. Michael, Nathan, and their team can do anything at your home or your business from an audio-visual standpoint. I saw them mount a TV on a fireplace. You can go check out Integrated Media Columbia. Put an underscore in between. Integrated Media Columbia on Facebook or on Instagram to get some examples of some past work, to get some inspiration for this college football season. If you want to trick out that man cave that you've always wanted, if you want to have the outdoor patio or outdoor setup, your living room, your kitchen, wherever you are planning on watching the action, they can help you do it. You don't have to go to the big box stores. They can help you pick out and source the equipment from their showroom in Chapin. They can install it, Sonos wireless speakers, internet signal, everything. IntegratedMediaInc.com, 803-948-8327.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast bread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Let your kids learn from the best. Hi, I'm Mark Whitcar from the Carolina Basketball Association, inviting you to our Fall Skills Camp Saturday, August 24th at Northside Christian Academy. Elite instructors include Gamecock standout Zach Davis, Cam Scott, and Jacoby Wright. Prepare your child for the season and help them improve their skills. Space is limited, so don't wait. Register your athlete age 10 to 16 for the Fall Skills Camp at cba4youth.com. That's CBA, the number 4, youth.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-743-8989, 800-743-8989, 800-743-8989.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Join Lexington Medical Center for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 13th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org. Opening ceremony at 6 p.m.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour with Gamecock Central.
Presented by Krantz Cooling and Heating
on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. Garnet Trust Hour brought to you by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you here on your Tuesday on the Game. Talk a little bit about Alabama and the differences between Nick Saban and Kalen DeBoer's offices at the football facility there. Somebody else in the football facility is a name you need to know. That's Courtney Morgan. He's the general manager of Alabama football. Chris, you've been working in college sports for a long time. Did you ever think we'd be talking about general managers when it came to college football?
No, I'll say no. When NIL actually became a reality, 2021, then you start thinking about it. You go, okay, this is going to eventually become, there's going to be some shifts in how college athletic departments or just really the individual sports programs within the AD, there's going to be some shifts in how those things are structured. There's a lot of like floundering within the program trying to figure out, well, what do we do?
Let's think about this from the perspective of professional sports.
Yeah.
What does a general manager do? They go out and acquire talent. They structure contracts. They put all the pieces in place together for a team to be successful and win championships and games and all that kind of stuff. For the longest time in college football, that's always been on the head coach and his assistants go out there and recruit the best talent to build a program that's going to be successful over a period of time. And that's not out the window, obviously, but now it's just as important to be able to structure a team in a short window like other professional sports do to have success. And the reason this is significant, because Courtney Morgan has followed Kalen DeBoer over from Washington, where he was solely responsible or played a big part in building that team that played for a national championship last year with Michael Penix Jr., with Rome Odunze, with tons of talent that came out of the transfer portal that all came together for that 1 year and balled out and played for a national title.
Yeah, I mean, this, thinking back to the beginning of NIL, like you've added in this element of, okay, now athletes are going to be compensated. And so how do you figure out what athletes are worth? What do you do when their agent, Mike Gundy just had the thing, tell your agent to stop calling. That happens.
Yep.
Right? And there's a lot to deal with. And so you think about it in put yourself in the shoes of a college football coach. It's like, all right, you got to coach these players. You've got to recruit them. That was tough in and of itself. And so, even before NIL came about, you would hear about a lot of guys saying, man, I'd kind of like to go get an NFL job. Like, I'd like to go to the beach for a couple months in the off season or whatever. That's hard to do as a college coach. Well, now you've added in, you're a coach, you're a recruiter, babysitter. You're also now like an agent / GM where you're negotiating and you don't know what to do. A lot of people are kind of, within these college football offices, you're kind of punting to each other. What do we do with this? What do we do? I don't know. Whose responsibility should that be? For player personnel people, their jobs used to be evaluate talent. Evaluate talent, and then a lot of them would get into the space of evaluate talent and help recruit. Some of them are better than others at actually building relationships. So now you add in, again, this other element of, hey, now you need to manage our NIL budget. And so I think what a lot of athletic departments or these individual, sports programs, big ones like football, huge revenue generating ones, have decided we need more structure here. And so as you move a little bit closer to professional model in practice, you move more toward a professional model in how you're building out your structure. So now we're seeing Courtney Morgan at Alabama get he already had a contract for $500,000 a year.
Yep.
Now he's getting $825,000, and he's getting a 3-year contract.
Well, and they fended off Southern Cal to make this deal because they were coming after him pretty hard. And again, he was a guy that was on the West Coast with Kalen DeBoer, and obviously is very familiar with the lay of the land out there. And Southern Cal is the team that's now in the Big Ten that is going to need good talent acquisition to be able to hang in there with some of those top teams. But again, Alabama able to hold on to him. He's the highest paid front office figure in college sports now. And this is an important distinction. He's just presiding over football. This isn't like a general Alabama athletics general manager that's going to deal with volleyball and softball. No, he is solely focused on Alabama football and getting paid nearly $1 million to do it.
And, Florida is looking to hire a general manager for their football. They haven't gotten one yet, right? Have you seen?
I don't believe they have.
But
again, this is one of those things. It's going to become the norm across college football. And while I look at a guy like Darren Usher getting hired here at South Carolina. That's not his official job title, but I feel like that's what that's going to eventually mold into is, okay, you're talent acquisition now. You're going out there, you're finding these guys in the portal. You're helping structure these contracts, these deals with them, with NIL or whatever this new model is going to be to make sure we have the best collection of talent every single year, in addition to what we're doing on the high school recruiting front, too.
It will be interesting to see if, by the way, Florida's actually working with a consulting firm to find. So you hear about these search firms.
Right.
Now, so think about pro sports. So in pro sports, when things are going poorly, I'm going to pick a completely random team, the Carolina Panthers, right?
Right.
So you look at the Panthers, if things are going badly, people are going to say the coach is bad. The general manager is bad, and in a lot of cases, the owner is bad.
Yes,
and that we've probably had all of that.
Well, we know the latter is certainly true.
Right. So right now in major college athletics, if you think about football, which I would say every single program, if not, almost all, if not probably all, football is the revenue driver.
Yep.
This is not something I made up. That's just what the numbers say. Now, people are going to look at it, and if there are struggles, it might shift a little bit more into the coach is bad, the AD's bad, and the general manager, right? So the player personnel people have always kind of operated a little bit more in the shadows. They're well paid, but it's been more like they make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. They make good money, but they're not making millions of dollars.
Sure.
Now you're starting to get guys at big programs who are getting multi-year deals that are worth $1 million or more, and it's being reported more. Their importance is growing in the NIL era, and so you might start seeing more. Hey, our team isn't very good. We need a new GM. Like you might start seeing that more in college sports.
Well, and this also goes into something that I talked about at the end of last week where, the group of five is exploring maybe having their own playoff down the road because there's a very likely chance that the Power Four boot them out of the 12-team playoff if they end up kind of restructuring this format here in a couple of years. And, I think that'd be good for the Group of 5 because let's not pretend like they're all playing the same type of football as the Alabamas and Ohio States of the world, because they're not. It's cool that they get a chance to be in the 12-team playoff, but they're going to get run out of the building more often than not in that first-round game. So playing their own championship would make a lot of sense because there's this growing gap between what Power 4 is and what Group 5 is. Do you think Miami of Ohio or Toledo can afford to bring in a general manager for even $300,000 a year? No, probably not. Is there somebody on the staff that can do a similar type of job? Yeah, but not to the degree that a Courtney Morgan can with his salary and his resources at a place like Alabama. Again, it's going to continue to drive this gap between these two similar levels of football that aren't really similar.
Well, and what will probably happen, I would say, is the Miami of Ohio's and Toledo's they might hire a general manager. Some of those places have collectives, but that general manager, in terms of the scale, it'll be kind of analogous to, an offensive coordinator at Toledo versus the offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Sure.
The Alabama offensive coordinator is going to make 10 times more, probably. So same thing with a GM. But we have seen over time the player personnel space. Everybody talks about the analysts. Mm-hmm. This school's going to have unlimited analysts now. Nick Saban was a big proponent of that. But also a big kind of niche in college sports and college football is these big player personnel departments. So a lot of good people in those, and they have really, you've seen a lot of guys really, really move up in that space. Darren Usher's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Darren Usher here at South Carolina, his title is the Director of Recruiting and Player Personnel. He was hired at one point under Chip Kelly, and his title at UCLA was general manager.
Mm-hmm.
And Chip Kelly left UCLA, so Darren decided to go back to Oregon. But that line of thinking, a lot of young people coming up, moving up in the industry and carving out these jobs that are becoming increasingly important in the space.
Absolutely. Speaking of NIL and this talent acquisition, you sent me a pretty interesting article from CBS Sports in reference to college basketball and what some of these athletes are actually asking for. We'll get into that coming up here in just a moment. Real quick, though, again, coming up on a Friday, Summer Golf Classic at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Still opportunities for you to sign up your foursome if you want to. Give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000 to register. Again, 803-755-2000 to register for our Summer Golf Classic coming up this Friday at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. It is the Garnet Trust Hour brought to you by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head, Chris Clark, along with you on your Tuesday on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game. The Game's Summer Golf Classic Golf Tournament is coming.
Sign-ups start the week of July 29th. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 to reserve your foursome. One lucky player will win a pair of season tickets to all Gamecocks home football games.
The Games 2024 Summer Golf Classic is August 23rd at Charwood. Call 803-755-2000 to reserve your foursome.
If you are looking for a local and reliable family-owned company who can help you out with any of your home's HVAC needs this summer, and as we get into football season this fall, hit up our friends at Krantz Cooling. Justin Krantz, general manager there, does an outstanding job. His team has been out to my home. They gave me a free second opinion on a leak I was having. Made sure to get out in front of any issues I may have, advised me on what to do next. They've also put in a mini split at my home in my garage, and they've done not one, but two at my mom's house. We are super happy with the service we have received from Krantz Cooling. KrantzCooling.com. That's Krantz with a K, Cooling with a K. Since 1983, they have been serving the families and businesses. They also do commercial right here in the Midlands. 803-672-3224 or KrantzCooling.com. Give them a call or visit their website today. See how they can help you with your home's HVAC needs.
It's time for the Gamecock Football Back to School promotion. Now through Saturday, you can purchase tickets for the football games against Old Dominion or Missouri for only $24. You heard right. Gamecock football tickets for only $24. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to take advantage of this offer. But act quick. The $24 tickets are only available through Saturday.
what you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where back to cool means award-winning savings. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
Why are you wearing an Adidas tracksuit?
40 years of training has paid off. Breakdancing is in the Olympics.
Your moves are probably best showcased on the radio.
If your tires feel like you are about to do a windmill, come visit Pope Davis.
We've got the top 17-inch size for $425 and the top 18-inch size for only $530 with a 60,000-mile warranty.
For gold medal prices, buy your tires today at PopeDavisTire.com.
Hey, Columbia, Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers, telling you about the diamond buying difference when you purchase a diamond from us. No matter if you're looking at mined diamonds or lab-grown diamonds, at Traditions Fine Jewelers, we have a huge selection of both, and which you choose is up to you, but either way, you always get trade-in value of the diamond solitaire you purchase. When you spend over $1,500, you'll get a limited lifetime warranty when you get your ring checked every 6 months. Traditions has an in-house jeweler with over 30 years experience to take care of your every need. Ring sizing, stone setting, or if you just want to come by and get your ring cleaned. At Traditions Fine Jewelers, we have hundreds of mountings to see, touch, and feel, and to try on, or we can special order or custom create the perfect engagement ring for you. Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset in Lexington, or in the Village at Sandhills. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Do you want to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Make It Rain Irrigation and Landscapes. Specializing in all aspects of landscape construction, enhancements, and outdoor entertainment, they offer a wide range of services to make your outdoor dreams a reality. From outdoor lighting for homes and businesses to hardscape design and build, including outdoor kitchens, water features, stonework, and more. No rain, no pain. Call Make It Rain Irrigation and Landscapes today at 803-673-6337 or online at makeitrain803sc.com.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Jerry Jones, when he said we're going all in, I thought Derrick Henry is going to be out there, go get a couple of free agents, add them to the Cowboys, and instead, as we all know, they didn't do very much in free agency at all. What a difference we'd be talking about the Dallas Cowboy chances of winning it all this year if that guy was there.
Who may not have wanted to go to Dallas.
I don't know about that. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Ravens a little bit better of a football team, maybe?
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet
on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. Our Trust Hour brought to you by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head, Chris Clark along with you on your Tuesday here on The Game. Continue on our conversation about ever-evolving college sports and front offices and things like that. It always kind of circles back to NIL because that is the foundation of all the chaos amidst college sports these days for the most part. You sent me an interesting article earlier this morning. Gary Parrish of CBS Sports covers college basketball. 100 coaches across college basketball were asked in reference to what is being asked of them on the NIL space. And some of these numbers of what players are asking for, quite staggering.
Yeah, they are. So college basketball, think back not too long ago, Tyler. People were being literally imprisoned for doing things related to compensating college basketball players. That went a little bit deeper than that because it was, things like bribery, et cetera. But
right,
I mean, we had the FBI involved in this stuff, and now players are asking for. Gary Parrish gives one analogy, and it's just one. That the biggest number he heard was $5 million for one player. Now, we know college basketball is big business. There's a lot of brands. The shoe companies used to be huge in this space. Their influence has diminished because now the cash is just cash.
Yeah.
Or there's still a lot of big brand deals, right? But it's more about brand deals plus cash now.
Don't you almost kind of miss the days of college basketball and say, well, Nike gave him a bag to go to whatever school, or Adidas wants him to be at UCLA or something along those lines.
Well, his AAU team's sponsored by Nike.
Yeah,
he's got to go to a Nike school. Yeah, a little bit different now, because there's just more. Frankly, a lot of cold hard cash in there. I think it was didn't Armando Bacot from UNC, he gave his number that he got the other day on a podcast. I think it was $2 million.
Hold on, let me look it up.
I think he said it was $2 million. But college basketball, the figures have typically been, they have grown, obviously, since the NIL era has begun and more cash has come into the sport. But it is a sport where the rosters are a lot smaller. You know, you think about football, you can't give everybody on your football team $1 million. In theory, on your basketball team, you could, or you could come pretty darn close to it.
Let's see. Armando Baycott. And Baycott was somebody that was, he's in TV commercials and stuff like that. So a pretty well-known name around college basketball.
He was on Outer Banks.
Yeah. He over $2 million. But he says $2 million plus, but I'm saying that humbly, though. Told Theo Pinson and AJ Richardson on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was just answering the question. He didn't come on there and say, hey, guess what, guys?
No,
they asked him and...
Not trying to flex, but again, that's what a high-end college basketball player is going for. And I go back to when the NCAA launched their website about reporting NIL deals, which is what you're supposed to do now to kind of allow the market to set the price, essentially, going forward. We were looking at those numbers a couple weeks ago, and a lot of the basketball numbers are very heavily skewed, it seemed like. But when you think about it, yes, you have, I guess there's like 3 times as many teams, but you still have more college football players than college basketball players at the Division I level just because of the roster sizes in college football compared to college basketball. But the deals in college basketball seem to be heavily tilted one way because you have some of these high-level talents that just command so much money that are going to throw those numbers off a lot.
The numbers, by the way, in the stories. So, the question from Gary Parrish of CBS Sports to, you said 100 different anonymous college basketball coaches. What's the most amount of NIL money somebody has asked you or your staff to pay for a player? The leader was 49%, less than $1 million.
Yes.
Okay, so
roughly half.
The question from that is, what level were all these coaches? It was Power 4. Was it Power 4 coaches?
Let's see.
No, it says small school assistants in low leagues.
Yeah, because there's not 100
big
power institutions.
Not 100 Power 5 schools. Right. Power 4. I didn't know if it was like head coach, assistant coach at all Power 4 schools. There would be 100 of those.
Yeah, I think there's probably a good mix here to kind of balance things out.
So, that's a big difference because that could be anything from, a small, like a group of 5 school giving a kid $50,000.
Right.
To an SEC or ACC program giving a kid $750. It's a pretty big range. The other ones, 40% between $1 and $2 million, and then 10% $2 million or more. I think we saw the interesting thing is we don't have this public database of deals for players or anything like that, which I've never been in favor of. This kid's making this amount of money. I just don't think we need that, in my opinion. But we have seen some deals come out that have been reported on with sourcing, or, a media member will come out and say, hey, I reviewed a contract and it was worth this much, and sometimes even tied to the player. Again, Gary Parrish says there was a player that asked for $5 million, did not get it. But we've seen, who was the kid? We just talked about Armando Baycott. There was a transfer that just got a couple $1 million supposedly to go somewhere. We've seen some of that. Those are big numbers, but they're still rare. Like, I think a lot of people are thinking about college basketball and saying they're all getting $5 million a year. It's not happening, but the numbers are still pretty big.
Well, and you also have to think about it from this perspective as well. One superstar player can carry a team in basketball. Like, yeah, if you're a group of 5 crappy football team, I don't care if you sign a 5-star quarterback. That's not going to make the team a national championship contender. But in basketball, when you only got 5 guys out there on the court, one player can't make that big of a difference.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to have basketball. You can flip it quickly. Just look at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm not saying South Carolina's out here distributing millions of dollars to the basketball team, but they certainly have been competitive on that front. And it doesn't happen by magic that you just you're able to go in the transfer portal and land prospects that other SEC, ACC, et cetera, programs wanted. You're not going to go to the high school ranks and be able to attract a Cam Scott, even though he's an in-state kid. Cam Scott was committed to Texas.
Yeah.
You have got to be really strong on that front. And Lamont Paris and his staff, Kerry Rich, they've done a great job of recruiting, but obviously your integrations with your school's NIL program are significant on this front. And so if you don't do a good job in that space, you're not going to do a good job recruiting, bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is from Gary Parrish of CBS Sports. You can go read it on cbssports.com. But an interesting breakdown of kind of, where the money's at in college basketball right now. And I can only imagine what a detailed report of this would look like for football, especially at the Power 4 level with some of the deals that we know about with some of the high-end guys like quarterbacks driving Lamborghinis. I know Carson Beck just got his private jet deal. A couple other players are on that similar type of deal as well. So it just continues to go up and up and up. Crazy enough. We'll come back, wrap up today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour brought to you by Garnet Heating and Cooling. Give some advice to students as they begin classes at USC for another school year. It's coming up next here on your Tuesday on The Game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Sibs and Sounds, Saturday, September 28th at the Carolina Haven.
It's the only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event that is indoors under the cool AC.
Over 40 brands of local, regional, and national craft beers, wine, seltzers.
Live music by Ken and Drew of Sister Hazel, Dazer, and the Donovan Twins.
Get your early bird unlimited tasting wristbands starting at just $35 at sipsandsoundscola.com. sipsandsoundscola.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizon. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. Rams head coach Sean McVay has always tried to give his assistant coaches opportunities. On Saturday, he sat in the coach's booth while Aubrey Pleasant wore the headset to experience how head coaches need to manage a game. Nice job by Sean McVay. I'm Boomer Esiason.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Car wreck? Dial all sevens now. We got a $250,000 settlement for a client injured in a car accident when driver illegally turned in front of him.
Dial all sevens now.
The Nestapool Law Firm is not scared to go to court. We got a $2.5 million jury verdict for our client when the other driver failed to yield.
What do? Good heavens. Dial all sevens.
To get your attorney, dial 800 all sevens now.
Is your crawl space damp or musty? Water in your crawl space can cause winter rot and creates an environment for mold and mildew that can make its way inside your home. Canty Foundation Specialist specializes in crawl space repair. Call us today for your free inspection so you can have the peace of mind knowing your crawl space is dry and your home is protected. Call today, 803-424-8380, or visit cantycanfixit.com.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour with Gamecock Central.
Presented by Grant's Cooling and Heating on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. Garnet Trust Hour brought to you by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head, Chris Clark along with you on your Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, the whole crew, us two and Wes Mitchell, going to be out at Firehouse Subs, 633 Main Street in Columbia. Getting set for the start of school.
That's on USC's campus.
It's literally right on campus, right around the corner first. We could walk there from here.
You might see a football player there.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe so. We're not teasing anything there. You just might. That might be circumstance. They just
I have not checked the schedule. Odds are they're doing something football related.
Probably.
They're honestly, somebody would be mad. They'll be like, he shouldn't be there. They should be.
Yeah, we will let them practice. That is okay.
But you know what?
We're not going to drag anybody away.
If they want to go take a break and get a New York steamer or an Italian or a turkey bacon ranch, they got to eat. They got to fuel up.
Good protein.
Did you know that sometimes Firehouse Subs feeds football players?
I'm not surprised.
Sources say. I'm just saying.
What could be better after a long practice or getting ready for a game than a delicious Firehouse Sub?
I can't wait for it.
But again,
be really good. Come out and see us.
Tomorrow, 633 Main Street from 9 until noon. Come by and see us. Hang out, get a sub. We'll have T-shirts and the whole 9 yards. Maybe even some tickets to give away if Dreamy Josh is feeling kind enough. But we're going to be on campus tomorrow. School is today the first day of classes at SC? I think I saw either yesterday or today. Either way, starting this week. So I graduated in 2019. When did you graduate?
Oh my gosh.
How long have you been out of college?
You did this segment just so you could gloat about your
maybe a little bit.
I graduated 2008.
Did you love or hate the first day of classes?
Is it fair to say I was indifferent? I mean, I remember I could not find one of my classes.
Ooh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
What class was that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know if it was the first class, second class, whatever, but it was it's in my phase of life where I wouldn't say that I'm a super organized person anyway.
Sure.
I've gotten more organized over time.
Yeah.
Like things like having children, et cetera, like you can't lose them and you have to be more organized.
That's probably smart. I wouldn't advise losing children.
But back then, I was a little bit more loosey-goosey.
Sure.
And so, I probably didn't give myself a lot of time. And then I'm like, it's not like I grew up walking around USC's campus. I'm from Anderson.
Yeah.
I'd been to campus, hung out, spent the night with some friends and stuff when I was in high school. But I was like, I have no clue where this is. And by the time I found it, I was a little late. And I was like,
I don't want to ask this question in a way to make you feel old, but I'm genuinely curious. When you were signing up for classes, was it all online or was it paper?
We chiseled it into tablets.
Stone tablets. I'm legitimately curious. Like, what was it all electronic then?
I think everything was electronic. We would go in for advisement, which was always horrible. You're in this little office, and they would help you like stay on track. And you need this for your major, your minor, and stay on track. But yeah, it was electronic, and we had a system. I don't know if they still have it. It's called Blackboard.
Okay.
and you went on there, and you went on to Blackboard, and that's where you got your grades, and you could, drop classes, add classes, all the different things.
Yeah.
So, computers were invented at that point.
We didn't have Blackboard, but it was something similar. And you went after your advisement, and you had your window of opportunity to sign up for classes and stuff like that. But I never remember paying as much attention to where the class was. It's like, hey, I need this class, got to sign up before it gets full and all that kind of stuff. And fortunately, I don't think I ran into too many problems, because especially once you get into your major, you're typically within the same building or at least close to that. The one class that I hated the location of, and for anybody that's ever been to the University of Georgia, above the stadium, you have Hurdy Drive, which is this gigantic hill that goes up to North Campus. There's the library and all that kind of stuff up there. It's like Sanford Drive runs parallel to the stadium. Then above that, you have Hurdy Drive, and you have all the North Campus stuff. I used to park at the Journalism Building, which is right on outside of the northeast corner of the end zone. So right there, just outside Sanford Stadium. And my 8 a.m. Spanish class, this would have been fall of 2017, was probably 3/4 of a mile away up Hurdy Drive. So at 8 in the morning, I had to climb that enormous hill. And it wasn't just a straight shot either. You had to weave your way through all these paths, go in between all these buildings to get to this one building, Gilbert Hall, that was just tucked away in this small part of campus. And as the fall went on and got colder, it started to rain more. That is the one time that I regretted my class location. And again, I should have taken Spanish in community college and gotten out of the way, but that was a brutal semester for that one class.
Anybody who's gone to Carolina, whoever had a class in McMaster, which is getting close to Taylor or Gervais Street, so it's kind of more on the edge of campus, kind of getting closer to the new law school. And I had a art class for some reason. I had a class out there, but I had friends who would have to make the trek from Bates to McMaster, and it was, I don't know, approximately 20 miles or something. I mean, it was not really. Now, it was very, very far.
How fast are the buses around here?
Bus is pretty good.
Bus pretty good?
Pretty good, from what I recall. Yeah, because they would do, from even your off-campus apartment. They're pretty good, from what I recall. Did you have any funny athlete stories? I had a class with ex-player.
Yes.
Probably none of them can be told.
I took a sports management class with an offensive lineman that's now in the NFL. Was a very highly touted prospect coming out of high school, and we sat in the back of class, and he would listen to music and vape the entire time. Would not pay attention. Was not studying for the test. And I remember we had to do we did little mini projects in class, hey, today pair up with 4 or 5 people, we're going to work on this thing. And he got in my group one day, and just talking to him, I was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Great athlete, physically gifted, very stupid. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm glad football worked out for him, because I'm genuinely worried about him in other aspects of life. He was not smart.
Did you tell Kirby that he wasn't?
I did not, because he was performing well on the field.
My favorite was I had a class for Ronaldo Balkman.
Okay.
Music. I'll have to tell that story one day. The parts that I can. It was hilarious.
We'll do our best. But best of luck to everybody out there that's starting classes this week. And again, come by and see us tomorrow at Firehouse Sub, 633 Main Street, right there in the heart of campus. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs coming up next on your Tuesday here on The Game.
.1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.